Hello friends. So today we are going to discuss about the new uh, interfacing electronic circuit that is used for a sensor. In last lecture we have gone through the amplifiers, then we have seen how the amplifiers, especially operational amplifier op amp, as a voltage follower circuit, and how it can be used for the interfacing, then instrumentation amplifier, how it can be used for amplifying the signal, and one or two more electronic circuits that we have seen. Now today I'm going to start with a excitation circuit. So we know that excitation is required for active sensors. So external power is required for the operation of active sensors. So what are the active sensors? So example is thermistor, RTD. So these are the temperature sensors. Then for measuring a pressure, the piezoresistive and capacitive type of sensors are there, which requires the external power. Then for measurement of displacement, electromagnetic and optical sensors are there, which are the active sensors, which requires the external power. So this power may be delivered in the form of either voltage or a current, or a sinusoidal or pulsating current, or in the form of light and ionizing radiation. So what is expected that whatever may be the power you are delivering to the sensor, either it should be a constant voltage or a constant current, or a fixed frequency of a sinusoidal signal, or a pulsating current, or it may be a light, or it may be a ionizing radiation. So there are several types of excitation circuits that are often used for the sensors. So most commonly used are current generators, voltage references, oscillators and drivers. And apart from that, so our focus will be on current generators, voltage references, oscillators and drivers. So current generator. What is current generator? Current generator is a device which produces a electric current independent of load impedance. That means whatever may be your load impedance, your output current remains constant irrespective of change in load. So this is what we are expecting. That means a constant current source, we simply call it as a current generator. So the amplitude of its current remains substantially independent of any changes in impedance of the load. So current generators are often used as excitation circuit to feed the sensors and are independent of the sensor properties. So whatever may be the sensor property is there, so your current generator should be independent of that one. It should be independent of your stimulus value. It should be independent of your temperature. That means if the temperature is changing, if environment is changing, then in that case it should not hamper your output current. So irrespective of sensor properties, irrespective of your stimulus, your output should remain constant. So this is what the expectation from the current generator. So it is useful in many of the interfacing circuits, as it has the ability to produce the excitation currents of precisely controlled magnitude and shape. So it is producing a precise controlled magnitude of a current and of a particular shape. If it is DC or AC current, depending on that, you are getting a perfect current shape also, as well as the magnitude is constant and precisely controlled. So this is how the usefulness of the current generator gets increased. Then a good current generator must produce a current which follows a control signal with high fidelity and is independent of the load over the broad range of impedances. So whatever may be your impedance is there, from low impedance to high impedance, if your load is changing, even though your load is changing, your output should remain constant, your load current should remain constant. That is what expected from a good current generator. Okay. Now there are two main characteristics of the current generator. First one is the output resistance we should take into consideration, and second one is the voltage compliance. voltage compliance, that means whatever may be the output appearing across the load, that we need to consider. So the voltage resistance should be high as practical. It should be as high as practical. So, and the voltage compliance is the highest voltage which can be developed across the load without affecting the output current. So if your load is, let us consider that if your load is of 10k, if I say that here it is, the load is of 10k and this is 10k, let us consider it as a 10k, and a current of 1 milliampere is flowing through it. So what is the maximum voltage that will be developed across this? So that will be near about 1 volt. Okay, sorry, 10 volts. That will be near about 10 volts. So 10 volt is the maximum voltage compliance that can be achieved through the this current generator. So this property should be known to you, what is the maximum voltage. So there are two types of current generators are possible. First one is the unipolar and second one is the bipolar. So unipolar current generator is producing either one type of current, either it may be a current source or either it may be a current sink. So if it is a current source, that means the current will go from circuit to the load, and if it is a sink, it will generate the inflowing current. This is what the unipolar current generator is called as. So unipolar means it can produce the current flowing in only one direction, usually towards ground. So with respect to ground, we'll be calculating this current, that's why it is called as a unipolar. And there are many generators that utilizes current to voltage characteristics of the transistor. So we have already studied such kind of I to V converters in using op amp, and the same concepts will be utilizing over here also. So voltage controlled current source or a sink may include an operational amplifier. Now this is what the circuit will be getting. You can see that to increase the current capability, this transistor N is put into this one. This is the voltage V1, and this V1 is fed back here, and this V1 and this V1 is nearly equal to same, but this voltage is controlled with this one. So this V1 and this V1 will try to maintain each other, so that output will be equal to I out is equal to V1 upon R1. So a precision and stable resistor defines the output current I out, and this will be given by V1 upon R1. So you can easily understand the concept of this one. So this will drive this transistor will help to enhance the current driving capability of the operational amplifier. Then now the problem with the previous circuit was that if it is a temperature dependent, if the temperature increases, and we know that as the temperature is increasing, the leakage current in the transistor also increases, and that causes to increase the collector current. So what is expected, irrespective of your temperature variation, irrespective of your environmental factor, your current generator should generate the constant current at the output side, but this is not happening with the previous circuit. So a circuit called as a current mirror is employed for a current generator. So current mirror is the circuit where input current is equal to output current, or output current follows the input current. So you can design the input current and you can get the output current equivalent to that one. So this is how you are getting a controlled current, and the temperature variation is not affecting such kind of mirror circuit. So here it is the circuit, you can see that. So this I out is forced to be equal to I in. This is what the working of the current mirror circuit. So I out is forced to be equivalent to or equal to I in, and I in is nothing but V1 upon R1. I in is nothing but V1 upon R1. So this R1 is going to decide what should be the output current, and whatever may be the changes will occur, that the same changes will occur in these two transistors, and it will try to stabilize the output current. It will try to stabilize the output current. So you will get the temperature independent control over the current. And if you want to multiply the current, then in that case this Q2 must be should be manufactured with several emitters. So you will get a current multiplication. So this is how you will be getting a circuit. So Q2 is replaced with a multiple emitter transistor, and you will get a multiplication of this one. So I out is equal to whatever may be, here it is the 4, so 4 times I in. So you will be getting a current multiplied by this one. So current multiplication is also possible, and obviously you will be getting a stabilized output. Okay. So you can design a bipolar current generator also. So these current generators are generally provides a sensor with excitation that current flows in both the direction. That means it will flow inside as well as outgoing current also. So non-inverting circuit and inverting circuit using operational amplifier, which will provide you such kind of circuit. So where the load is connected in a feedback. So we have studied such kind of operational amplifiers where the load is kept as a floating. So I to V converter with floating load. That concept is called as a this kind of current generator, bipolar current generator. So here you can see that the current flowing through the ZL is equal to V1 upon R1. Now you can see that the current flowing through this one ZL is equal to I out, and this is nearly equal to V1. So V1 upon R1 is equal to Z out, because you can see that the current flowing through one is the same current flowing through this one, because the current flowing through this branch is almost negligible because of high input resistance of the operational amplifier. So the current flowing through this is similar to I out. So I can say that I out is equal to V1 upon R1. So this is called as a I to V converter with a floating load. So this is in non-inverting mode, and in inverting mode here it is the simplest circuit. So this is nearly the non-inverting terminal is grounded. So this inverting terminal is at virtual ground. So whatever may be the current is there, that current will simply flow through this branch, and you will get the I out, which is similar to V1 upon R1. So this is how you will be getting the current depending on what kind of control signal you are using, whether it is a positive or whether it is a negative. Depending on that, your I out direction will be decided, and you will be getting a bipolar current. Okay. So there is another current generator with a grounded load, which is invented by Brad Howland. What he has done, actually the concept, similar concept we have seen it with a grounded load. With that grounded load, you will be getting utilizing both negative as well as positive feedback, and the current through the load is defined by this equation. So you might be remembering the concept of this one. So here the load is grounded, and you will be getting the equation in the format of this R3, R4 and R5. So the equation is given by I out is equal to R2 upon R1. R2 upon R1 is the gain of the amplifier because it is non-inverting. Sorry, it is inverting, R2 upon R1. So V1 minus V2, since it is used in differential mode, V1 minus V2 upon R5. Upon R5 is the current. So what you are supposed to do, define this R3 should be adjusted in such a way that R3 must be equal to R1 into R4 plus R5 divided by R2. If this is achieved, then we will be getting the current I2 is equal to R2 upon R1 into V1 minus V2 upon R5. So this is how you will be getting the current, and this circuit is devised by Brad-Howland. So now the next circuit is a voltage reference circuit. Now we know that you will be requiring a constant output voltage many times for driving the next load or next circuit. So this constant reference voltage you will be getting, and the most popular constant voltage source you will be getting either by using the Zener diode, right? So irrespective of your power supply changes, irrespective of your temperature, irrespective of load, irrespective of aging factor of your components, your output voltage should remain constant. Your output voltage should remain constant. So this is what expected from a voltage reference that can be used to used with a sensor. So this excitation will be requiring most probably will be using a Zener diode as a voltage reference, and we know that such kind of Zener diodes where you will get a characteristics like this. So when the temperature increases, the characteristics to the right forward characteristics, this forward characteristics is almost similar to the normal diode, but there is a when the Zener is connected in a reverse condition, reverse bias condition, that at that time up to this voltage Vz, the current increases very slowly, and after that the current increases very sharply, but the voltage remains constant. That's why it is called as a Zener voltage, and there is a sharp, so you can see that the voltage is remain almost constant, and as the temperature increases, this Vz will shift to the right side. In forward it is shifting to the left side, and in reverse it is shifting to the right side. So this is how generally you will be getting a constant Vz irrespective of your temperature or voltage changes. Actually the Zener is susceptible to the temperature. So to overcome that, there are other circuitries, but this is the generalized circuit. This is how you will be getting a constant voltage Vz, and to that you can drive your load. So here you can drive your load, and this Vz is almost constant. So this I should be greater than this Iz, because I should be equal to IL plus Iz. It should drive the load as well as it should drive the Iz current also. So this I should be greater than these two. This is what expected. Okay, but the actually the Zener diode falls into three categories: regulator diode, reference diode, and transistor voltage suppressor. Transient voltage suppressor. So regulator diode are the normally employed in your power supplies, and it comes with a wide range of voltage and power ratings. So if you want a specific voltage, because it is susceptible to the temperature, even though the temperature is varying, your power supply is supposed to have a output voltage within a specified range only, or limited range. So that's why the regulator Zener diodes are specifically used in such kind of power supplies. Regulator diode are temperature sensitive, and to improve its overall stability for the temperature, we need to connect it in a back-to-back fashion. So it is in forward. So you can see that in forward the characteristics is shifting towards left side, and in reverse the characteristics is shifting towards right side. So the once one is forwarded and other is reverse bias, so that will try to compensate each other and you will be getting overall stability for the regulator diode in back to back fashion. Okay, Now the next circuit is oscillator circuit. Next circuit is oscillator circuit. So oscillator circuit is the circuit which is generating the output without any input. This is what we know. This is what we have studied it in your various subjects like electronic devices and circuits, or any linear integrated circuits, or network analysis or circuit analysis type of circuits. So oscillator is the generator of various variable electrical signal. So most probably we are expecting the sinusoidal signal from the oscillator. So oscillator is essentially comprised of a circuit with a gain stage. So we know that there is one concept called as a beta, that is called as the Barkhausens criteria. A beta, that must be equal to 1, that must be satisfied for oscillator. So the gain is required, so you will be required a gain, some non-linearity is required, and some certain amount of positive feedback. So here it is a positive feedback, so gain into positive feedback, that must be equal to 1, and if it is happened, we can say that the output will be generated without any input. That's why the circuit is called as an oscillator. So oscillator is an unstable circuit whose timing characteristics should be steady. Steady means it should be constant one. That means the oscillator should generate the output with a constant time. That's why we say that the oscillator is having a frequency. So f is equal to 1 upon t. So if t is constant, f is constant. And if it is changeable, then accordingly it should predetermine the functional dependence. So the function is called as a modulation. And we know that you have studied the analog communication type of subject, where you are changing the amplitude, where you are changing the time or frequency, or where you are changing the phase. Then in that case, this phase, amplitude and time or frequency is the function dependent, and whatever the output is generated by such kind of oscillator, we will call it as a modulation type of circuit. Okay, there are generally 3 types of electronic oscillators are classified as far as time keeping components. First one is the RC component, second one is the LC component, and the crystal oscillators that are available. Okay, so we can generate multivibrators using digital circuitries also. So we can use the NOR gate as well as NAND gate, or binary inverters also. So we can generate the circuit like this one. Using the inverters, we can generate a square wave at the output V out. So this is how the circuit will generate using the digital circuitry or logic circuits. Then the multivibrator can be also designed with the help of comparator or operational amplifier. You have to recall the concept called as a stable multivibrator using op amp, then sinusoidal or oscillators using op amp. We have seen it with the help of some phase shift oscillators, Wien bridge oscillators, and we tried to generate oscillators with the help of such kind of operational amplifiers. So you need to recall it, but here I am going to show you one of the circuitry that is used as a amplification. So here you can generate a square waveform. So we know that the whatever may be the voltage across this capacitor, you will get a sawtooth type of waveform, and this voltage is compared with this one, and this is fed as a output, and output will try to switch between positive saturation and negative saturation, and you will be getting a sinusoidal waveform. Okay, so this is how you will get a multivibrator using operational amplifier. So you can design a various circuit using a 555 circuits also, which is a most popular timer circuit. So you can use a relaxation oscillator. So relaxation oscillator is nothing but a stable multivibrator. So Again, if you want to go for a generation of particularly sinusoidal waveforms, or if you want to generate the RF signals, then you need to go for high frequency networks which use the LC components. So you will be using such kind of LC components. So this LC circuit, which is used as a tank circuit, and this will be used over here, and this will be used to generate a particular frequency of 110 kilohertz. Okay, now such kind of concepts are also used with the help of for direct measurement of your displacement. If I use a linear differential linear variable differential transformer, that is LVDT, so that you can measure the displacement. So that displacement will be like this one. So when you move this LVDT, so there are two coil and there are two capacitors, so this will form an oscillator circuit. And when you are giving the input, so what will happen? So when your circuit is moving like this, this rod will move, which will move either in this direction or in the upward direction. The electromagnetic induction that we have already studied, the flux linkage with either L1 or L2 will get changed, and accordingly the value of L1 and L2 will get changed, and because of that the overall frequency will get changed, and that frequency will be proportional to the your displacement. This is what the simplest concept. We can derive it as we move further, and we'll see the various sensors for various applications. At that time we'll see such kind of applications. Okay, then we can generate a sinusoidal signal with a LC network. I think we have already studied this, sorry. Then the last circuit is the drivers. The voltage drivers must produce the output voltage which over a broad range of the loads and the operating frequencies, and it should be independent of output currents. That means you need to generate a constant voltage source which should be able to drive the next circuit, and it should be independent of the load variation, independent of frequency, and independent of output current. So drivers are generally called as a hard voltage sources. So when the sensor which has to be driven by a purely resistive, so we'll consider that a resistive sensor is there, or a sensor is represented as a purely resistive type of sensor, then the driver circuit will be a simple output stage which can deliver a sufficient current to the next circuit. So when a load contains a capacitance or a inductance, then it will be a reactive type of load, then the circuit becomes more complex. So when we consider the load is a purely resistive, so there can be some capacitance associated with it, because whatever may be the cable we are using or we are connecting it to the load, specifically if the load is connected with the coaxial cable, it will cause a capacitive effect, and that capacitive effect you need to consider it. Okay, so the capacitor are connected in parallel, so whatever may be the effect is there, that is connected in parallel with the load. And there are two reasons why it should be connected in parallel, because it decides the speed and the stability of the circuit. So this is how you will be connecting it. So the voltage across this capacitor is fed back with some beta factor to the circuit, and whatever may be the output you are getting, that has to be kept constant. And there is a circuit, if you want to make the driver circuit more tolerant to the capacitive load, then in that case we need to add a simple serial resistor and a capacitor CF. This is how you are connecting. So here you will be connecting a CF from output to input, and a 10 ohm resistance is connected in series with this one, and this will make a more tolerant, so you will be getting a stability for your circuit if you use such kind of driver connections. So with this we have came to the end of excitation circuit. We have seen the excitation circuit of current generator, we have seen the excitation circuit of voltage reference, then oscillator and the drivers. So driver, it is with a higher side of capacity, higher current and higher voltage source. This is what we are expecting, because in last lecture here we have said that it is a hard voltage source. Okay, so with that I came to the end of this lecture. So if you have any query, you can post me